Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're putting on our consultant hats and stepping right into a classic business problem, the Texas Star Markets case. We're going to break down how you take a real-world growth challenge and solve it from start to finish.
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to follow the consultant's playbook, starting with the client's core problem and building a framework to tackle it. From there, we'll dive into the market analysis, figure out a winning strategy, and deliver the final verdict. And of course, we'll wrap up with the key lessons you can use for pretty much any problem that comes your way.
So our story begins with the client, Texas Star Markets. Now these guys are a big deal in the grocery world, super successful, but they've hit a wall. They've basically maxed out their home turf, which leaves them staring at a huge question. Where does the next wave of growth come from?
So the client's got this idea, convenience stores. They're looking at it as this shiny new path to making more money. But for us, the big flashing question is this. Is this a brilliant move that plays to their strengths, or is it a really expensive distraction that could actually hurt the brand they've worked so hard to build?
Okay, so here's the rundown. Texas Star is a powerhouse in its region, owning the suburban market. But that well has run dry. They've already decided against opening more grocery stores downtown, so this convenience store idea, it's pretty much their main shot at new growth.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. You see, a good consultant never just jumps to an answer when faced with a messy problem like this. Nope. The very first thing we do is build a structure. This is hands down the most important step. It's how we turn all that chaos into a clear, solvable puzzle.
Before we even whisper the word strategy, we have to get a deep understanding of the market they're thinking about jumping into. We basically have to map the battlefield. How big is it? Who are the big players? What makes them tick? And, what does it even take to get in the game in the first place?
And this right here is our roadmap. This decision tree lays it all out. First, we have to answer the big one. Should we even enter this market? If, and only if, the answer is yes, then we move on to the how. Do we build from the ground up, buy someone who's already there, or maybe team up with a partner? This structure makes sure we look at every single angle logically.
Now, this whole approach is powered by a core consulting principle called MIS. It's a funny-sounding acronym, but it's pure genius. It stands for Mutually Exclusive, Collectively Exhaustive. All that means is that our analysis covers every possible base. That's the collectively exhaustive part, without anything overlapping and getting messy. That's the mutually exclusive part. It's the secret sauce to being both super thorough and super efficient.
Okay, our framework is built. Now it's time to start plugging in some data and see what we find. And the first thing we need to look at is who's already playing in the Texas convenience store sandbox. And yeah, it's a crowded field. You've got some heavy hitters, some really well-known names. This is not an empty playground just waiting for a new kid to show up. We're going to have to fight for every single customer. So who exactly are we up against?
Well, at the very top of the food chain, you've got 7-Eleven. Just look at that number, over $3 billion in sales last year. That one number tells us two things. One, the market is huge, but two, the leader is an absolute giant with massive scale and power.
Now, the good news from our initial scan is that pretty much anyone can open a convenience store. There are no huge legal or financial roadblocks. But that's also the bad news, right? It means the real trick isn't just getting into the market, it's staying in. It all boils down to one critical question. What's our unique edge? How are we going to win? This is where the rubber meets the road. We can't just be a copycat of 7-Eleven and cross our fingers. To have any chance of success, Texas Star needs something special. A clear, unique reason for customers to choose them over the guys they already know.
So, the strategy that starts to take shape is built on 3 pillars. First, location. We get great spots fast by buying up a smaller, struggling chain. Second, and this is the real killer advantage, price. We use the grocery chain's buying power to sell stuff cheaper than anyone else. And third, brand. We lean on that powerful Texas Star name that people in Texas already know and trust. And this simple gallon of milk, it tells the whole story. Texas Star can get it for cheap because of their huge grocery business. Their competitors have to sell it for a lot more. Texas Star can slide right in the middle, offering a price that's way better for the customer, but still makes them a nice profit.
And look, this price advantage isn't some kind of magic trick, right? It's a direct result of being able to tap into the massive machine that is their grocery business. They already buy things by the truckload, which gives them incredible bargaining power. Plus, they've got smart managers, marketing teams, and even their own store brand products to drive prices down even further. Now hang on, because right in the middle of all this analysis, the interviewer drops this piece of gold. And it's such a critical lesson that goes way beyond this one case. In any job, being clear and honest is everything. If you use buzzwords you can't actually explain, you lose all your credibility, fast. All right, so we've taken the problem apart. We've looked at all the pieces from every angle, and we've built a potential strategy. Now it's time to put it all back together into a clear, straightforward recommendation for the client.
The final recommendation is super clear. No maybes. It's in two parts. Part 1, a loud and clear yes. The convenience store market is a fantastic opportunity that plays right into their existing strengths. Part 2, the how. The smartest way in is to buy a smaller player. It's faster and locks down good locations from day one. Building their own is Plan B.
So we've solved the main problem, but in the real world, just when you think you're done and can pat yourself on the back, the client often has one more thing. A great consultant is always ready for what's next.
And there it is, the curveball. The client, feeling good about our analysis, throws out a totally new idea, putting banks inside their grocery stores. This is the ultimate test. Can you think on your feet and apply your structured thinking to a brand new problem live right there in the room?
But watch this. We can use the exact same logical framework on the fly. We just run through the entry options real quick. Start our own bank? Way too expensive and risky. Buy an existing bank? Even more expensive. The obvious winner is a joint venture. Just lease some space to a bank that knows what it's doing. It's the easiest, lowest risk way to test the idea out.
So let's zoom out. What are the big lessons we can pull from this whole exercise? Let's forget about convenience stores and banks for a second, and just look at the universal tools for smart thinking.
Think of this as your personal problem-solving toolkit. Number 1, structure before you try to find a solution. Always. Break the problem down into those meaty pieces. Use data, even simple data, to back up your story. Pull it all together into a clear recommendation. And you've got to always be ready for that curveball question. This process works for almost any complex problem you'll ever face.
So the strategy is sound, the numbers work, it's a logical, data-driven plan. But, at the end of the day, business is always about people. Your employees, your customers, your leaders. So the last question I'll leave you with is this. What are the real human challenges? What kind of cultural shift does it take for a big grocery company to succeed in the fast and furious world of convenience stores? That's where the spreadsheets end and true leadership begins.